dancers, welcome back to my channel. I'm Claudia Dean and I hope you guys are all having an amazing day. Now, I've got a super interesting video today. This is kind of scary to film because it's called The Mistakes I've Made in Business. And obviously this is going to be me highlighting the actual failures that I've had in my 6 years of business. Now, obviously, if you do run your own business, you would know that you have extreme highs and very low lows. Now, before I go any further, I just want to say to all of you, always remember that mistakes are simply lessons and you can always rise above them. And there's always a pathway that you can go down to resolve a mistake. So you're gonna hear about all of that right now. Let's get into it. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and here goes. I've got 3 major mistakes / lessons that I've learned that I'm going to be telling you today. The first one is about manufacturing and something going wrong with leotards very last minute. The second one is about websites and lots of dramas that happen there. And the third one is, I think, probably the best story out of all of them, to be honest. It's to do with collections and leotards and something really major happened, okay? So, story number 1. So when I decided I wanted to create a whole leotard collection, which is now Claudia Dean Collections, I first of all approached a really big company that a lot of you might remember I was working with a lot at the time. And I said, hey, do you guys want to collaborate on a leotard collection? And they declined and they said, sorry, at this point we can't. It's a little bit too hard for us to start up a big collaboration. We're not really in a position to do so. So I said, okay, no worries, but I don't really want to let this stop me from creating my leotard collection that I've been dreaming about doing. So I thought I'm just going to do it on my own. And I approached them because I had a very open communication with them. And I said, okay, so if I go ahead and do it on my own, is there anyone that you can recommend in Australia that can manufacture these leotards that I have in mind? I've got a really strong vision. And they said, yes, here's a contact in Adelaide. Now, just remember guys, I live in Queensland and this is located in South Australia. So it's definitely like a 3-hour, I think it's about a 3-hour plane journey from where I live to these manufacturers. So it's not easy to get to. So basically what happened was I emailed this manufacturer that was based in Adelaide and I said, hey, I want to create a leotard collection. So can we begin the sampling processes of me telling you my designs and you basically making it come to life? So when I use the word sampling process, I mean basically you've got your vision and design and then basically you tell your manufacturer what that is through photos, diagrams, whatever it is that works for you. And basically they make that drawing or that sketch that you've got come to life. So then they would send you the leotard that you've then sketched out and say, hey, this is the sample, try it on and tell us what you like about it, what you don't like about it, what you want to change. Now, guys, keep in mind that in a sampling process, you can make as many changes as you want, but every single change that you do make will cost money. So think of it like this. If I make 8 changes to a leotard, that might be $100 every single time because they've got to remake the leotard each time. So if you're making 1 leotard and you're making 8 changes to it, it's nearly $1,000 just to get the leotard to the stage of, yes, this is correct. But what happened is they made the first sample, and I'm gonna insert some photos on the screen. And I got it back and I was like, I've sketched out a leotard and I know you guys know how to make leotards because you make them for this very well-known brand. And I'm wondering why mine came back so not like a normal ballet leotard. So what I was having to do was correct things like the gapingness around this area of the leotard. I was having to tell them to add more fabric because the leotard was coming all the way down here where you could almost see like your side bosie. So I had to tell them, no, you need to put like 5 centimeters worth of fabric up the side. The sample leotards were coming like down here. So like they weren't nearly long enough in the torso. They were sitting really low. So I had to say, hey guys, like I need you to add more fabric to the top part of the leotard. And I was doing this in every way possible to make it easy for them because obviously guys, you've got to remember they were based in Adelaide. I was in Queensland. So I was physically adding fabric to the top part of the leotard to tell them, hey guys, this is where the fabric needs to be added. I was pinching in the leotards and pinning it and sending it back to them. I was pinning the straps to the right length. I was doing everything I possibly could, and it got to the point, guys, to make a leotard like this, it took about 15 samples. So meanwhile, I'm spending like close to like a couple of $1,000s just to get the leotard to a basic approved state, which is outrageous because they were making leotards for a very well-known brand. And I was like, okay, this is weird. It's either they're trying to make it very hard for me on purpose, or they're just really not good at what they do because they were just not getting the hint. I engaged with this manufacturing company in June, and basically it was now September. So we had been sampling for about July, August, September, 3 months. A sample, honestly, it should take like a month max. Like nowadays, when I get a sample, I have to make like 1 or 2 tweaks to it max, and then I'll get another sample back and then it's good to go and it goes into production. These guys, it took them over 15, okay? So it got to September and I was like, I really wanted to have this out by Christmas, and it's really not looking like it's gonna be out by then, like at the rate that this is happening. So I emailed them and I said, hey guys, look, I'm really wanting to schedule the photo shoot for late October for these leotards that you're creating. I've got 2 designs that need to be done. We've only done 1 and I need another one done, and I feel like the time's getting really cut short here. So I'm gonna have this photo shoot scheduled for late October, and I really need you guys to try and do the changes that I'm saying. Now, you seriously won't believe it, guys. I sent off this last round of changes, and me and Simona, we were sitting in the office, and I was like, surely they're gonna get this round of changes, because it was literally adjusting the straps and just adding a little bit of fabric underneath the armpits so it sat a little bit higher like a normal leotard. What did they do? They added fabric widthways so it sat like outwards like this. Oh, it was honestly a nightmare, okay? So I got this final sample back that was literally meant to be the leotard that we were gonna use for the photo shoots like that following week, and it was totally incorrect. It literally was gaping here. It was massive on me. It was honestly like they did the opposite thing that I told them to do. And I was like, Simona, I feel like this is becoming so hard. I've done 4 months of this and I feel like I'm on the verge of giving up. And Mona was like, no, Claude, they're located in Adelaide. Our photo shoot's next week, because it was literally a week before the photo shoot. This is what I mean. They were just so slow. It was just a disaster. She was like, what about you fly to Adelaide and you actually go there with them and show them the changes, because that's the only thing that we can do at this point, because literally the photo shoot's next week. And I was like, yep, all right. Because my mum was a travel agent, I called mum and I said, hey mum, I've got to get on the first flight like tomorrow to Adelaide, because if I don't go tomorrow, basically if the photo shoot's next week, they're not going to have enough time to actually make the garments for the photo shoot and then send them to me. It like won't arrive in time. So I was like, I'm gonna get on the flight. I'm basically gonna tell them the changes. They're gonna have to make the correct leotards and the changes that I actually tell them to do like within 24 hours and then send them to me so they arrive in time for the shoot. So anyway, mum was like, yep, okay, go to Adelaide. It's all good, Claudes. We'll get it sorted for you. So I flew to Adelaide. I was there for 4 hours. I'll insert some photos here. I was basically standing in their changing room. I was literally pinning where it needed to be like pulled in, adding more length to it, doing the straps. And I just couldn't believe that after 4 months of trying to get 2 leotards correct, it couldn't be done. And it was like every single time I had a change, the opposite thing was done. And guys, what ended up happening was, you won't believe this. We did all the changes, and that was for my size. I was an adult's medium, so we did all the changes for the adult's medium, perfect, right? I flew home. The photo shoot was the following week. I literally got the garments a day before the photo shoot, so there was no changes that could be done. Like nothing could be done at that point. It was like whatever arrived from them, I actually had to use it and just run with it. And what happened was I opened the box, try on the adult's medium, it's perfect. Then I tried on one of my models who was a younger girl. She was like a child's large. I try on the child's large and they'd completely stuffed up the grading. So the grading is basically you've got adult's medium, adult's small, adult's petite, and it basically has to get graded down correctly. And they had literally stuffed up the grading for the child's large. So for the photo shoot, all the leotards literally had to be pinned into place because that was not how they were going to be for mass production. Like, I knew that so many changes had to be made. So then after the photo shoot, you can imagine then the nightmare of trying to get them correct for mass production. So that took like another 2 months. Anyway, long story short, when I look back on that journey, I'm like, someone was definitely trying to make it hard for me, because that is not a normal process of what I went through. That is not a normal sampling process. Normally it would take a month. There'd be, 1, 2, 3 changes, or as many as you want to make, but it would get done efficiently and it would get done correctly to what you ask for. And when I look back on it, they were literally doing the opposite of everything I said. So that was probably one of my first business nightmares. When it came to Claudia Dean collections, I learned so much from that journey, and I would never take it back for a second, because the education and the lessons and I guess the mistakes of going through that manufacturer were just so valuable, because it really gave me a new appreciation for that whole manufacturing and creating a leotard collection world. I thought it was so easy, to be honest with you. And once I went through that, I was like, this is like a living nightmare. And after my first collection, I honestly sat down with Mona and I was like, can I do that again? And Mona was like, no, let's find a new manufacturer. And I did. And there's another story with something else with that. Anyway, that's coming at the end. Okay, right. Next story. Now, the next one was actually this time last year. It was when COVID-19 sort of went down, and basically everyone was not allowed to go to their dance schools and dance normally, and weren't allowed to go outside, and everyone was sort of stuck at home, which I'm sure so many of you watching this know all about. So when that was happening, I had a lot of you DMing me going, hey Claudia, can you do an Instagram live class, or can you create some sort of platform where we can take classes with you, because I can't dance at my studio and I really want to keep dancing at home. So anyway, me and my team sort of sat together and we were like, okay, what can we do to really help everyone out at this point? And I was like, okay, Instagram live class is a great idea. It means that we can all come together. It doesn't cost anything. Anyone can participate. Let's just do that. So I did that. And then one of my business partners said, if everyone's stuck at home and they want to keep dancing and continually do what they love to do, what about I create a little platform where you can just upload some videos, Claudia, and they can follow along. So you just do like a quick little bar and they can follow along, and a quick little center, they can follow along, variations, point class. Anyway, I was like, yes, absolutely. Like, everyone's gonna love that. If everyone's stuck at home and they wanna keep dancing, this is the perfect idea. So I was like, okay, how about you go and create that, and I'm gonna focus on getting the live class all sorted and all coordinated. And basically our business partner said, yep, by the time the live class happens, I'll have this mini platform up and running for you. So when you're actually doing the live class, you can tell everyone, hey guys, go onto this platform that I've just created. And I was like, yep, awesome idea. So I was in this Instagram live class with you all. I'm sure actually so many of you would remember this. And at the beginning of the live class, I said at the end, I had a really big surprise for you all. So when the live class was coming close to an end, I said, all right guys, I've literally got the best surprise. In the meantime, we have been creating a little platform that all of you can go on and use right now. It's called ClaudiaDeanWorld.live. So all of you go there right now and you basically just sign up, and I'll be uploading 2 classes every single week so you can follow along at home and you can keep dancing while you're in lockdown. So what happened was 7,000 people went on to ClaudiaDeanWorld.live, went onto that URL in literally 1 minute. So 7,000 people straight to the website. Then in a couple of hours, 25,000 of you had gone onto ClaudiaDeanWorld.live. And then guess what happened? Within about 5 minutes, the whole website literally crashed itself. It just shut down. It was an actual nightmare. It was unrecoverable. At this point, I'm actually still on the live and I'm like, guys, I hope you're enjoying the platform. Let me know if you've got any questions. And so many of you are commenting, Claudia, it's crashed, like it's not working, it's not working. So anyway, Lachlan was there at the side. Lachlan's my partner, as a lot of you would know. He's basically there going, Claudia, cut it, like we've got a bit of a drama, so like just get off the live. And I was like, oh my god, what is this, what is this? So obviously I wrap it up and I'm like, hey guys, I'll see you on ClaudiaDeanWorld.live. I end it and I'm like, what's happened? And he's like, the whole platform has completely crashed. There was 7,000 people the minute that you said it's ClaudiaDeanWorld.live. And later on, we'd found out that 25,000 people had gone on there in the space and time of literally 2 hours. But in that moment, it had been up for 5 minutes and it had already crashed. And I was like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? Can it just get quickly fixed like in an hour? So we call our other business partner and we're like, hey dude, what's gonna happen? He's like, guys, you know, I hate to be this person, but this is unrecoverable. Like, this is going to take me about 2 weeks to fix. I anticipated about 2,000 people on the website. There's been 7,000 and more and counting. And the more that people keep going on there, actually, the more it's crashing the website. It's just like making it worse. And I was like, oh my God, you're kidding. So I obviously then went on Instagram and I could see so many DMs from all of you being like, I want to sign up. I want to sign up. Like, I need to do something at home, but it's crashed, like I don't know how to sign up. And I was so stressed in that moment. I was like, oh, I feel like I've let down like thousands of people right now. What ended up happening was I had to go on my stories and say, hey guys, I have no idea when the site is gonna be back up. If you did manage to create an account, your account will still be there, but just bear with me for the next couple of weeks. And like so many of you obviously were upset by that. But then what happened was we managed to recover ClaudiaDeanWorld.live 1 month after that date. Guys, it took 1 month to recover that website. That is how much it crashed. And then ClaudiaDeanWorld.live was running for a couple of months. And then from there, it transformed into Coach Me World. And obviously Coach Me World is being built to handle thousands of people on there at once. So there's no issues with it crashing. I think it was just in that moment when we were building that quick platform, we just thought, oh, maybe like, you know, 1,000 people might enjoy this platform. And it just ended up blowing up and we never anticipated for it. And it was just kind of hard, I guess, because I was like on a live and Lachlan was standing there like going, Claudia, end it, like this is not good. And I was like, oh my God. Anyway, lesson learned. So now I know probably not to launch a massive website in the middle of an Instagram live. And I've also learned that you need to have the capacity of holding like thousands of people on a website. And that's why you see, like, you know, when you see Kylie Jenner's website, like those really, really, really famous people, when their websites crash, it's because they've actually underestimated how many people are going to be on that website at once. So that's what happens. Now, next story. Okay, this next story is dramatic. All right, so basically I had been working with this manufacturing company in Australia for about a year, which is a decent amount of time. They created a whole entire collection. I'm not gonna say which ones, but they'd created a whole entire collection with us. It was very successful, beautiful. I was so happy with it. So I was like, naturally, okay, let's do the next collection with you. And now you all know about the sampling process. Like, it's a bit of back and forth. Anyway, we did the bit of back and forth. It was really easy. There was only a couple of tweaks that needed to be made. And I was like, right, it's all ready to go into mass production. And so that's exactly what happened. It went into mass production. And at this stage, because we were a little bit more established, we were producing thousands of garments. It wasn't like hundreds of garments going wrong. It was like thousands of garments, okay? Anyway, the mass production arrives in our little warehouse office area. And I'm like to Simona, okay, let's do some quality control and basically start checking the garments. So I pulled out my size first and I'm checking the garments and I decided to try one of them on because I noticed something that wasn't right. I'm not gonna say what it is. Again, I have to be careful with this particular story, but I noticed when I put it on, I was like, this is not what I approved. And then I decided to go and get the sample that I did approve. And I basically put on the sample and it was exactly what I wanted. And then I put on what had been produced in mass production and it was totally different. It fit differently. It was totally not what I'd asked for. So I was like, okay, is this the case with all the leotards or is it just my size or what's the go? Guys, we went through every single leotard. It took us about 3 days in total and all the leotards were incorrect. I'm talking thousands of garments were not made to what I had approved. Now, first of all, that is like upwards of about $60,000, just to put it out there for all of you. So in this process, I lost a lot of money. I actually couldn't launch the collection. I had to pull the whole thing. And I basically had to sue this manufacturing company because they'd not made what I'd approved and what I'd ticked off and said, yes, this is the correct garment that I want. And they'd honestly made something that I believe was like a bit of a shortcut to just like get them done faster. And it was a very long battle, and still to this day, it's like a little bit unresolved. But yeah, long story short, I had to sue a manufacturing company because they'd made thousands of garments incorrect. And this company is based in Australia, and obviously there's so much more I want to say to all of you, but I can't really. But it's just very upsetting when something like that happens, because you invest so much hard work, time, money, like there's so much that goes into these collections, and to have the whole collection come back incorrect was almost like soul destroying. And obviously that first collection was like a little bit of a nightmare. So I'd already gone through that experience, so I feel like my skin was quite tough, but to go through this was like on another level, and getting lawyers and solicitors involved, it was very ugly. And it's kind of interesting because, you know, this obviously happened a few years ago now, and I can really look back on it and say I learned so much in that process about people, about people's ethics, trusting people. And it's definitely taught me that good manufacturers are very hard to find, and I'm so grateful that now we are working with the best. And it's actually taken us so many nightmares to actually get to that point, but I feel like we've learned so much from those past experiences that now we're in a really good stage with Claudia Dean Collections, and we've got the best people surrounding us. And I feel like I've gone through that, like those nightmare moments, and it's actually like really led me to amazing experiences now. But that story, I honestly believe, would be every business owner's worst nightmare, because as I said, it wasn't just a couple of hundred leotards, it was thousands that went wrong. And anyway, onwards and upwards, I'm still here, I'm still persevering, nothing can stop me. I feel like, honestly, I feel like you could put anything in front of me and just nothing would stop me. And actually, just another thing, you know, my very first collection, this is quite deep as well, but this isn't really a business mistake, but this is another reason why I think I'm just so resilient, is literally the day before I was launching my very first collection was when my mum passed away. So it's like, if I can get through that and still launch a collection and still manage to fight and keep moving forward, then I feel like I can do anything. So guys, that is my worst/best business mistakes. Let me know if you guys enjoyed these story times. They're so in-depth, so interesting, so much, you know, I don't want to say the word goss, but it kind of is, because they're full-on business mistakes. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys! Bye.